Hello and welcome once again to another Rose Play at the Movies. As always, we're your hosts, Orion Moonrose, and Wildfire returns once again as I butcher her name.
Yes.
All right, so in anticipation of the sequel of Nobody 2, we went and saw, obviously, as you've seen, Nobody by the time you clicked on this. So let's go ahead and first start with the story here in a second. Good, awesome, there we go. So Nobody's pretty simple. They basically start off, I'll tell you the basics, and then it's about a guy who you don't learn much about until later in the movie, but you know he's done something in special fields of operations or something. And he basically, I guess we'll start with, before we get into the spoilers, he gets into a fight which basically causes the whole story to spiral. And there's a lot of good plots to it. We'll get into the specifics in a moment. First, I want to talk a little bit about the movie in general, starting with the main fact of what we were kind of having a debate about before we started, which was, I felt like this movie was very forgettable.
Yeah. Until I rewatched it again, though.
Yeah, you actually remembered a few more parts than I did until you mentioned them, and then I remembered. But the thing is for as forgetful as it is, you stated that you thought that it's probably because we haven't seen the movie in a while, we haven't thought about it, and most action movies,
yeah, they're missing a lot of the story because all you really pay attention to is them kicking some butt.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I will say I really enjoyed, was the fact that there felt like an actual fleshed out story. And we'll get a little bit more into that compared to John Wick and whatnot when we get to probably emotions, maybe? I feel like that would be a good place to bring up like all the other action movies. So let's go a little bit more further into the actual story first, which was basically you start the movie at the end. Or I guess close to the end, since there was 2 after credit scenes-ish?
Yeah, something like that.
And so you basically start the end of the movie at the beginning where he's in an FBI interrogation room and they're like, yo, what happened? And so I don't think he explains it. I just think they go back to show us what happened.
Yeah.
But I will say I love the cat. The cat's the win. Cat gets a 10 out of 10. Best actor in the movie. Nah. But so he goes back, and it's basically shows a normal routine of what felt like Dexter.
Yeah, like he's trying to be a normal person.
And he's doing the same routine and everything day after day.
Yeah.
And so, but then they get robbed. And when they get robbed, he's about ready to go crazy, and he realizes stuff that the audience doesn't realize at the moment. It's not until the next day at the warehouse where he's talking on the radio to a guy who, I guess we'll just spoil right now, turns out to be his brother. He's supposed to be dead, but he basically tells him I was going to mess them up until I realized it looked like a broken gun. There was no ammo. They were stealing chump change.
Yeah, they were desperate.
And so his I think it gets to there. His daughter is missing the cat bracelet, and that's what makes him snap.
Yeah, he starts flipping out.
And he starts flipping out, and he goes on a bus. He gets into a fight, which starts this whole Russian plot. And let's see. And then, of course, you know, we get to parts where he's talking to the people that are dying or trying to die, and he finds the bracelet. So basically, this whole movie could have been avoided.
Yeah.
If he would have just found the cat bracelet. But in there, he figures out who the people are. He's gonna, I guess, kill them. I feel like he was gonna kill them.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Until he realized that they were only doing it for their baby, who was hard breathing.
Yeah, on like a life support looking ventilation device.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so basically, the father gets involved because he's an old FBI agent. His brother comes out of hiding from being dead. They stop the Russian mob, And basically, he, I guess, must tell the wife because the trailer kind of hints that he did. And they get a new house. Somebody calls. And that's the only part that actually confuses me a little. I don't know who called.
Yeah.
Let's see if Wikipedia has an idea. A part of me feels like maybe it was the brother telling them that they're on a mission. David and her are shown carrying guns. Nope, that's in a moment. Okay, so apparently he answers the phone in a hint that there might be more trouble on the way. They don't specify even in Wikipedia what it is. I feel like it could be the father and the brother, since they're in a camper van, and Christopher Lloyd, bless his heart, he's freaking amazing. He's like the Jamie Lee Curtis of this movie.
Yeah, I feel like something probably came about, like, with him, you know how, like, they're in hiding or whatever. I feel like him doing what he did, basically whoever might be searching for him was like, oh, I bet you that's him, and now they're going to come after him or something.
That could be too.
Because he did say something about, you know, the other guy going and, you know, changing it, doing some work on himself and going to the Caribbean or something like that to get away from it all and starting a new life. And I feel like that's what he was trying to do. So I feel like the next one's going to be leading up into people that would have been searching for him beforehand.
It is a possibility too. Yeah, no, the movie brings up a lot of questions of what they're going to do for a plot outside of them going on vacation and running into whatever they run into. But yeah, no, overall, I think the movie was pretty good. Is there anything you want to add about the story?
No, I mean, for the most part, it was intriguing. There was some parts that felt like filler or didn't feel interesting enough.
Or was a little slow.
Yeah, where it's like, damn, I could have forgot it because of this, you know. But other than that, I mean, it did for the most part, especially the action scenes. Kept you intrigued.
Well, the action scenes I think helped because of the fact that not only were they emotional, because you felt more invested in them, but you actually remind me of something. I feel like, and we'll get into a little bit about the other movies, when other movies do their action scenes, like John Wick, Love Hurts, it feels like stuff that normal people wouldn't be able to do. For the most part, I felt like in Nobody, the actions that he did in the story felt like something that somebody could do, a normal person up to an extent.
Yeah, definitely a special ops person.
All right, so I think that takes care of storyline. So what did you go ahead and rate the storyline, and as to why?
Well, I gave it an 8 out of 10 because of the fact that some parts could have definitely been forgettable and felt like filler. And so there were parts where it wasn't as entertaining as it could have been, you know. So that's why I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Ironically, I also gave it an 8 out of 10. And almost for the same exact reasons. It felt slowish at the beginning or groggy. And I get it. It's a new story IP. You got to introduce the characters, make you care about them, get the plot going. Which is where when sequels come out, they're able to skip a lot of that. Because they just have to reintroduce you to the characters. So I felt it was a little slow and whatnot. And I don't know if there was a few scenes that they could have done without, because one of my favorites, and we'll get into it when we get into the character, but the Russian. The main Russian, when he does the dance and the thing on stage. Oh, boy, that's memorable.
Yeah, that was funny.
But, yeah, for the most part, it was just that it was really slowish, and I don't know, it felt off a little bit, but it felt more on par than most of the action movies you get, where you're right, they focus more on the action and they forget about the story, and story is just as important as characters and music.
Yeah, and I felt like the tempo, like the speed of which that part was going at was like very like slow.
Yeah,
and
it built up.
And it could have definitely been like all chalked up a lot quicker than it was, basically.
I mean, I agree with that, and I think that's why I did deduct points, but I feel like at the same time, if you got rid of it, we would have lost feelings for the characters or even the villains. Because I think even the few scenes where we kind of went on a little bit with the main villain, I feel like if you didn't have those scenes in there, you wouldn't have felt his character as much as you did.
That might be true.
So, I mean, although I do think you are right, and I agree why it went down was because I feel like it was very slow. I feel like those moments were needed, and I feel like they might not be needed in the next one. But I'm also afraid, with it being like a 4-year gap, I'm hoping that they're able to keep the same vibes and whatnot going into the sequel and not have forgotten what the original was.
Right.
All right, so with that done, we're going to go ahead and move into the characters. Once I get that page up. So first you had Bob Odenkirk, who played Hutch Mansell. He was the lead. He's the nobody. He's the guy who, when somebody tries to look up his papers, even I think it was the Pentagon, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Everything was pretty much redacted. It's just nobody. And I think it was the secretary of the Russian who's like, get me information, do the blackmail. And it comes back and she's like, I quit, I'm done. Don't worry, no pay.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Nobody wanted to deal with it.
Yep. And so there's that. So you don't know a lot about him. Like I said, he does a routine kind of like Dexter or maybe a serial killer in general. Which obviously he wasn't he did kill probably a lot of people in his past, like he said. He'd shoot them and not listen to their story. He could be classified as a serial killer, but...
No, it's more like mass murder.
Mass murderer? I could go with that,
because serial killers, usually they hunt down their prey. And
well, he might have in the past, though, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, like, they I don't know. It just doesn't feel serial killer. It just feels way more like a mass homicide or something.
But, of course, obviously he did it for a job, so he still has character. He still cares. He's not actually... what normally typically counts as one.
He doesn't have the, you know, like a lot of serial killers, they're looking for like certain, like they have certain intentions, you know what I mean? Like he's more of like just an assassin or some sort of
for hire ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could go with that. And so basically his character, there was one mission he was on. And instead of blowing the guy's brains out, he chose to listen to him. He gave him a chance. The guy actually turned his life around. He's like, I'm not jealous, man, but I want that.
Yeah, and that's why he went to pursue.
Yep, and that's why we get the character we get in the story. But you could tell that he cared about his family very much. He cared about his daughter especially.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, as a character, I think he was... I think... We'll get into it. So, like when you get to lead characters, like John Wick, I like. A lot of people's complaint with him is that he's very emotionless, and somebody did mention that, you know, he's like an assassin. Assassins are like that, and I get that. But you're trying to pull off a movie. You want your character to have character, and John does have his own character, and you know people do like him still. Keanu Reeves, they might like more, and that's why they like him too.
Yeah.
But, like, I felt like that. Love Hurts had some emotion in it, but I felt like that movie tried to hide a lot of stuff or something. This one kind of does bring it out there way fast, or they show the love. I think what it is, I like the family aspect, that he has a family, he has kids. It's not single, well, I guess his wife had died in John Wick. Love Hurts was he was going after a girl he liked. Novocaine was going after a girl he liked.
Yeah.
So I think he was a very likable character, and I don't know if he's up at my top, but I think he is one of my favorite of the action John Wick ripoffs, I'd say. I don't know if he's at the top, but I think he's up there high.
Yeah, just in the same genre-ish, yeah.
So anything you'd like to add about his character, or any moments you remember?
I mean, he was my favorite character, because, you know, he had humor in it, and he had class, and they had a lot of music that gave off his vibe too.
Oh yeah, the music, which we'll get into with music too, but oh god, he does have good taste.
He just has a vibe.
He does.
He's just so good. He's so classy.
He is. So next up is the wife, which was Becca. Again, there's not a whole lot to say about her. She was kind of like one of the... She was important, but she was like a side character. They used her sparingly. But I think she was a good wife for him to have, because it shows that they were having problems for I don't know what reasons. But it seems like they were patching it up, and you said it yourself that you felt like she had to have at least known he did something, because she patched him up with rubber cement.
Yeah, like it was like no surprise. Like came home all messed up and stuff, and started patching him up and everything. And then later on, it's just like, yeah, we need a basement.
Right. Oh yeah, the very end. Do you have a basement? Yeah, like I said, I think the whole family's gonna be portrayed more in the sequel.
Mm.
But I do feel like that and we'll get into the daughter and the son a little bit too, even though they weren't that much in it either. But I think the family as a unit worked really well together, and I liked where they went with what little small time they had.
Right.
Anything else on the wife?
No.
Nope. So next, could be second favorite character, could be favorite. Christopher Lloyd as his father, David Mansell. I've always liked Christopher Lloyd, first of all. Again, it's like another Jamie Lee Curtis in a sense. His eccentricness. And the father's amazing. Like, you don't see him that much till, like, midway point. He gets a call from his son. What did he because you said it once. Do you remember what he told his father when he called?
He basically said that something about he wasn't gonna, I don't know if he said he wasn't gonna make it or something like that, but he said heads up. Right,
heads up. He's like, you remember that little excursion that I did, or extracurricular, whatever? It's kind of going south, so heads up. And then they get to the scene, and I remember you and me talked about it, where originally when it happened, like, oh no, they're gonna kill the father.
Yeah, like I was worried because he looked he looked kind of defenseless at the point.
And sleeping.
When I first saw him, it was like, he was sitting down, and he wasn't really portrayed up and moving and doing all this stuff, So I just thought he was just normal. He was just a retired FBI agent, but I guess
I guess not.
I guess he had a little bit more to show for.
Right, and then like you said, he's defenseless, and then all of a sudden he opens his eyes, and the shotgun comes out.
Yeah, he had the place.
I think my favorite part of the whole movie, when the orderly comes in, turn your westerns down, and he's got the guy's mouth muffled, and he pats him on the cheek right before death.
Oh yeah, he had just as much class, if not a little bit more class than his son.
Yeah, and it would make sense. He's older. He would have experienced more than his son. Mm-hmm. And then the final scene where, we'll get into the brother in a moment too, but in the final scene where they all show up at the warehouse that he recently bought, mind you, and he's like, I miss this, or something around, and then just how happy he looks. Like, I don't know, he showed so much good emotion, or happy or I feel alive again.
I know, like those happy grandpas type of thing, where they're all smiley and happy and giddy. It's just so cute.
It was. So I don't know. It's like I said, Christopher Lloyd might have been my favorite character. If he wasn't, it was Hutch by just a little bit. So anything else on Christopher Lloyd as him?
I don't think so.
All right, so this is going to be very short. Woman on bus. She's basically got the Russian plot going. Hutch was like, oh God, please, because the Russian kids, or at least main kid, crashed, and they're trying to get on the bus, and he's like, oh God, please let them get on. And it's like, this woman's getting home safe tonight.
Yeah.
And then it causes the rest of the plot. I mean, for the most part, did the woman say anything more than like, thank you?
I don't even know if she said anything. I know there was slow motion look at her face, but
yeah,
there wasn't much.
I mean, at least so I can't say much more about her other than at least she played a good victim.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's probably not too hard to do.
Right?
Especially when you don't have to speak.
Well, and she saw them fighting a little bit. All this action going on around her. Even if in real life, I'd still be like, okay, this is getting very close.
I'd be sneaking off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to creep on over here and get on out the bus.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me, too. When they were, I guess they was going to do bad things to her. And one of the guys look over, like, what is he still doing on the bus?
Yeah, like they finally realized when he he literally stood up with a smile on his face, went to the front of the bus, told the bus driver to get off, And then they noticed what he was doing while he was staring at them.
And I mentioned it during the movie, too. You know, they're like, oh, what are you going to do? And he pulls out a gun, and it's like, yeah, that's not going to scare him. He puts his gun up, unloads it, the bullets fall to the ground, and at my point, I'm thinking to myself, if somebody does that to me, even if I'm one of those mobsters, I'm like, nah, I'm done, I'm out, peace.
Yeah, because he's basically showing, I can kick your ass, I don't need this.
And then they try to go for the gun and put the bullets back in after.
Well, yeah, because they know they can't take him man to man.
All right, so we're going to combine, I don't know, Busgoon. I'm trying to find the brother. Okay, so next we'll talk about Becca's father, Michael Ironside, who was Eddie Williams, and Billy McCollin, who was Charlie Williams together. They had even less screen time than her.
Yeah, they didn't have much.
Michael Ironside, of course, is the voice for Sam Fisher. So, you know, it was cool to see the actor.
Even though I didn't even realize it.
I didn't either until we looked it up.
So now I don't even remember.
Right. But, I mean, the father was more memorable than the wife's brother. I know the wife's brother pointed a gun at him, told you need it, and he got sucker punched when he went to buy the place.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know what to think about him. They were just kind of there.
Yeah, they were all backside characters.
Yeah, they weren't really... They were important, but not important enough.
They were just there for some fillers.
Pretty much. All right, so up next we have...
Whoa.
Me burping to death, apparently. We have Hutch's brother, Harry, Reza, and he's a hard one. He was in the movie a lot, but he wasn't physically in the movie until, like, the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, but when he was, he kicked some booty hind.
He did, and
he reminded me of some freaking Mr. Terrific or whatever.
Oh, yeah, he did a little bit. Well, Reza is a, let me go into his account. He's an American rapper, first of all. He's with, like, Ghostface Killah and all that. I forget what they're called here. The Wu-Tang Clan.
I don't know, but he was pretty sick with that sniper rifle. He reminded me a lot of that.
Oh, God, right. The triple shot. Right. That was, I clapped. I just... Well, I didn't get up, but I was thinking about... I just started like, bravo on that triple shot, my dude.
Right.
We don't know it's his brother, technically until the very end, in the second post-credit scene, when he's like, Pops. It's hinted at a little bit in the father's room.
But you have to be really paying attention, though.
Or you have to be remembering it or thinking about it. Yeah. But basically, it's just a voice of somebody who's supposed to be dead, not supposed to be calling, and he's doing all this calling and whatnot. It does now make sense why he cared so much about talking to him so much. And why, I'm going to save your black butt. Or,
white.
Don't make me save your white butt.
Oh, yeah. I was going to be like, what?
Yeah. Well, okay, let's be fair. Let's be fair, though. If he wasn't adopted, that means you're right with a chance that the father got freaky deaky with an African American, and it is possible that they're full brothers, which means he could technically be part black. But obviously, you know, the brother was just making fun about him being white.
I don't think so, though. He doesn't, I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be half black, but I don't know. He just doesn't seem half black. He seems full white.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of times where you can tell, but...
Right.
I mean, I suppose there's sometimes, but, like, a lot of times they give, like, off a good, like, mix, basically, when they, do, have, like, a black and a white person. They give off a nice color, like a caramel color, kind of. Like, a lot of times they have, like, a nice in-between color.
Yeah. And actually, now that you mentioned that, after we're done with Harry here in a moment, I was going to jump to the main villain, but we're going to jump to the Black Russian. Because you saying that brings up the Black Russian more better. Yeah. But so he comes out towards the end, and he's amazing. I love the back and forth that he does with the brother, the father at the end. Like, I don't know how good of an actor he is, but at least in this movie, they got him to either act really well or he was just really good at acting.
I know. I was kind of upset when he died. I was just like, dang, why'd they have to kill off the black one?
Right. And so that they just call him Barber's guard, Eugene Bafo.
Like, they had to kill off the one Black Russian.
Well, and not just that, but Hutch even mentioned it.
Yeah,
He's like, you don't see very often. And so that does show that maybe Hutch could be black. Still highly unlikely, probably, you're right. But, like, yeah, because he starts telling him his story about whatnot, and the guy dies. And I knew he was going to die, and I knew he knew that he was dying to tell him the story.
Right. Yeah.
But he was one of my, besides the main villain, which we'll get to in a few, he was one of my favorite villains, the black guy. For as much as he wasn't in it, really, he really gave off a big impression.
Right, and he just decides to just basically damn near take their life and then tell them his life story while they're done.
Right. All right, so now we'll come back to Reza quickly and say that for him, for what little he was in the movie as well, physically, he was just as good with both the father and the brother, especially in the end when Christopher Lloyd and him was like, oh yeah, that's why.
Yep.
So next is Alensky Surabarakov. I probably butchered that completely. And the worst part is, I'm going to butcher the villain's name, Yulin Kutsintov. So yeah, I probably butchered his name really badly. But like, when I think back to all the villains that have been in the John Wick ripoffs, as I'll call it, I think he's the most fun and one of the most memorable of the villains. But I feel like he was comic booky. Like he was a little over out of there, but I loved it.
I know, he kind of seemed like Penguin. Like he'd go in and you'd be like, yeah, look at me, I'm amazing. I don't know why he reminded me of Penguin for some reason.
I could see that.
But I guess it was more like the Gotham series with Falcone. Falcone.
What I will say is that I think you're half right. I feel like he was a blend of the Penguin mixed with the Riddler. And when I say the Riddler, I mean more his personality and his mannerisms. Because, he got up there and started dancing, no problem, jiving his hips.
Yeah.
And then he got mad when his brother got killed. Supposedly killed. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah.
If he actually died, I mean, he could have. Every person's body's different. But Hutch said it himself. Last I knew, I just left him really badly hurt in a tracheotomy. Or tracheotomy, whatever it's called. Where you cut into the neck and put a breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what happened with that, but so he's basically the main villain, and Hutch comes into his club, and he's got the little C4. I think it's C4. That's where I'm going with what it was, because it looked like it.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, we could just part ways, but I burned all your money, so all your people are going to be mad, but I can bring you to the Bahamas. And he's like, we could have dealt if you wouldn't have done that.
Right. Yeah, no, it does definitely show character that he burned it instead of actually taking it.
True. He did say, though, too, he got a little emotional. And the other guy's like, no, wasn't emotional. You're stupid. So, yeah, no, I like the conflict between them. I felt like they worked well off each other, too, as well. But, boy, what a gruesome death he got.
I felt like it was like a statement, like, I don't give a crap about your money. It's about the sentiment. It's about, like, what is going on between us.
Right.
And everything.
And you hurt my family or came after my family. And
like, it's
I get that.
Those are his priority, and he probably has a crap ton of money anyway. From obviously all of the stuff he's
probably
special ops and whatnot.
Well, he had those gold bars. That's how he bought the warehouse from the wife's parent, or... Yeah,
exactly.
Parent.
So he's like, money's not a concern. I don't care. I'm going to burn all yours up.
Yep. Okay, so... I don't even remember. Oh, Beta was the secretary. Okay. I'm looking through the list. I'm trying to group the brother and the sister together. But I'm not really seeing the brother or the sister. Maybe because the picture they had was... they're older now and they try to keep it updated, I'm trying to see, like, their last name, but I'm not. So, I guess, unfortunately, I'm sorry that I don't know their names. But the son wasn't super important. I mean, he tried to save the family. The father did appreciate him later on.
Yeah.
He was like, Dad, why are you a wimp? But the little girl, whoever played the little girl, she was adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had a cute daughter. Cute son, too, obviously, up to an extent, but...
Yeah, that's true.
There's not too much more to say about them. They weren't important-ish, other than it's what got the plot going. And then, unfortunately, it spiraled because the cat bracelet, again, was underneath a freaking couch.
Right.
We talked about the secretary a little bit. That was Daria Chanshura. I guess I'm not really going to say their names at this point, but there was the tattoo parlor guys, and I do love that scene. The old man's like, thank you for your service, locks himself up in the room, and the tattoos guy's like, yeah, what do you need now?
Right, and they're just like, nope, I'm out.
I will mention the butcher, though. He was only in a couple scenes, but it was played by Colin Salmon, and the only reason why I'm bringing him up is because he was the stepfather in Arrow that was dating Moira. And so, I mean, he's got a strong presence. Like, he wasn't in it a whole lot, but I don't know, just... It's like we've talked about before where certain people give off certain vibes, and he gives off that you're cool vibe.
Right.
And that's the most I can really say about him. And then there was the group of people on the bus. We talked about them enough. And then the rest, I'm not really sure what's going on. So we'll leave it there for the characters. But is there anything you'd like to add about any of the characters at all or anything? So, yeah, I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10 as well. So next, let's go into music and sound effects. I mean, I'm an old school person. I'm from an older generation, so I absolutely love the music in this. I love almost all the song choices. I love the sound effects. I love how they kind of come in and come out depending on the noise and everything going on. But I really love the music choices they had. Like we mentioned a little bit in characters or storyline, the music gives Hutch his... You learn about him, his character and whatnot. So, I mean, there was a lot. Pat Benatar. I can't even remember most of the songs, but they worked really well, and I liked them. Like, there wasn't much wrong with it. I think this is more your department than mine, though. So what was your thoughts with the music and the sound effects for Nobody?
I absolutely loved the music in this. I feel like it definitely fit his vibe and like an old-timey feeling to him, and kind of also fed into the humor aspect with some of the fight scenes and stuff.
That's true. Or like when he put on the one record and it's like this song and you're just like, oh.
And I just felt like they like matched what was going on to a T, you know. And the Heartbreaker was kind of like how he didn't choose the deal or whatever. So it was almost like, it just felt like it fit what was going on. Like everything felt like it fit what was going on and fit the vibe of the movie. And I really like the song that they basically chose like a theme for his like the whole movie.
They
and
did.
Him being the nobody. They chose that Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood.
Oh yeah, I love that when that started playing at the end when they're in the FBI area and they're like.
I think it does in the beginning too.
I think
and
so.
Then
I think
it goes back at the end because
Yep.
it's like the same kind of.
So a wraparound.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it because they're just like, who are you? I'm nobody. And the song's playing and then they get a phone call while it's playing. And it's like, you're free to go. I don't know if they said that.
Right.
But I do love that you're right. They did do it at the beginning because he was taking out the cat or the tuna and feeding the cat that he had found, which was in the building. So yeah, no, I love the personality they set along with it. And I think Bob Odenkirk had a lot to do with the movie. I think he wrote it, directed it, something. So it makes sense that he would get his character especially right. But the music in general, because it worked with the Russian too.
Oh yeah, I just felt like it fit the whole movie, the whole vibe to the movie, and just made it like so perfectly like put together.
And then the sound effects were kind of there. I mean, you know, for the most part, the sounds were gunshots or explosions or
Gurgling noises.
burgling noises.
Burgling.
Or gurgling. Gurgling.
I mean, I guess burgling noises too, because they were trying to burgle, but.
Right.
But I meant gurgling.
And I guess it might come back to emotion, but the sound effect of the fire burning when he burns down the house, I do love the emotion and the feel that you get from him when he's walking, because it looks like he's on fire.
Right, like it shines off his face and everything.
But yeah, no, I agree. The music, I think, was superb. I don't really think there was anything really wrong with the music. I don't know if it garnered a perfect score from you, but what was your, unless you have something else to say, what was your score for music and why?
It's a 10 out of 10.
Same.
It's a 10 out of 10 because I felt like it was just perfect. I felt like it was all put together. So.
I do. Like, there was not one moment for me where I felt the music was out of place, because the whole movie was kind of out of place in a sense, and they did that on purpose. So I think the music worked. It gave emotions. It gave you the emotions you want to feel. Even when there wasn't music, because I think there was a little music playing when the father gets attacked. I don't think it was a song, but I think it was like orchestra, and even that worked.
Yeah, there was just like, it gave intensity in certain parts, and then it gave the humor and the light aspect in other parts, and it just fit so well together.
So that must mean then, with us getting into emotions next, that's where our ratings must differ, because otherwise we both have a 90. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into emotions. I mean, that kind of goes back into music again too. And this is where I said I talked about the John Wick and stuff. Like, I feel like that's what John Wick, at least, I feel like for the most part, that's what John Wick is missing a lot of, is a lot more emotion. You've got the heart racing emotion, you got the feelings like when the dog dies, or when he thinks back about his wife. Like, there's moments in John Wick where there obviously is emotion. I'd have to watch it again to see how much. But I feel like that's one of the things that something like John Wick lacks, where I think nobody takes control of it more. I don't know about Love Hurts. I do remember a lot of Love Hurts, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But I don't really... like, there is emotion there, and I do like the emotion. But again, I think it has something to do with the family. The family aspect, especially, you know, I've been married. I do have a kid. You know, you're married. Yeah. So I think it hits a little different for us.
Yeah, probably.
But, like, just like the music, I feel like the emotion was really good. Like you felt it and everything. And, I mean, obviously there was a little bit wrong with it. And for me, and I'll get into it in a moment. But let's go over to your side and see what you thought, because maybe I can incorporate what I felt was wrong with yours.
Well, I felt like in important moments that it was like pretty good with the emotions, where you felt intensity and humor and whatnot. What are they doing?
Okay, well, that was real fun. An unexpected incident happened quickly that we had to take care of, so we had to let it stop for a second and get back to it. We lost our train of thought a little bit, but we listened to a little bit of the moments before I had to stop it for a second, and I was asking your opinion on what your thought was on the emotions in the movie.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that there was a lot of intense emotions and humor and light feelings to it. I feel like some things were lacking in like the with like his kids and like outsiders, I guess, as you call them. Like, yeah, especially like during the filler parts, it felt like the emotions weren't there, and I feel like really it was just the beginning. Personally, I'd say like the first like the first act was really even slow at the beginning, because how do I want to say this?
So, like I said, they were showing he had a routine. He was showing a lot of restraint. And when he's showing a lot of restraint, you could technically say, well, they're not going to show a lot of emotions or whatnot because he's probably always concentrating on the emotions. Because after he gets into that fight on the bus, he goes to his son the next morning. He's like, you did real good. You had my back. I appreciate. Like, he was himself finally. And so I feel like they were, and it could be something that the director or the writer did on purpose, where they purposely made it more emotionalist just to get that feel of what he's feeling, and but still get the characters known, and then build up from there. So I get you what you mean from that. I think personally what you're trying to think of is that it's the beginning that really, because I think once you get maybe to the bus scene, maybe after, it picks up and continues to pick up the rest of the time. I think from there on it doesn't really slow down with the emotions.
Right. I mean, maybe. I don't really know my full train of thought on the emotions, because it's a little bit different when it's like an action movie and there's not too much like crazy things going on. I mean, there is, but there isn't. Like, there's the kitty cat bracelet, sure, and like a burglary.
And the cat.
But, like, I'm talking about, like, life-altering, like, something that just completely messes up your world and, like, earth-shattering emotions to, like, bring it intensity that I feel like it was lacking in certain aspects.
Like, what, like, for you, then, maybe it was once they got to the scene with them attacking the house with the family, that's when all bets were on and emotions were high.
Yeah, like something more needed to happen for emotions to fully be drawn out.
See, that's sort of where I'm at, is I think it was the beginning of the movie, personally, for me. Again, it could just be because they were going slow, introducing you to things. But I also feel like that maybe they purposely held back on emotions or really world building because of the fact that he was holding back. Because it did seem like once the kitty bracelet and he got into his first fight, that's where the whole movie started picking up. But I feel what you mean, though, with like action movies. When you go to see an action movie, a lot of people go to see an action movie for the action, the violence, the coolness. You don't care about the story. A lot of people don't care about the story or the movie. They just want to see people hurt people, kill people.
Right.
And maybe that's what they were doing too. Maybe they did it on purpose, make this is going to be another action movie where we get to point A to point B and then surprise, mother.
Right.
But yeah, there were some things lacking in the emotions department, which hopefully number 2 just keeps that steady rise now that we know the characters more. So anything else with the emotions?
I mean, I was probably going to just put that when I was describing my rating for it.
Okay, so what did you give your rating of emotions?
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Ah, that's where we differed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking for something like that gives you like, because like action movies, like they lack a lot of like emotion, I feel like.
Agreed.
Because for the most part it's just intensity of and the like, you know, high speed chases and this and that and whatnot. Like, it's hard to exactly pinpoint what emotion that you really want out of it besides them just kicking complete, you know, butt. But like I get the kitty cat bracelet and everything, but this man was whole about to freaking shoot somebody over it.
True, and not just that, but it literally was the whole reason for a third. No, pretty much the whole plot. I mean, I know the Russians came after him afterwards, but it still was because of a kitty bracelet. The whole movie's premise is a bracelet.
Yeah, basically, and then he just so happened to mess some people up on the train that happened to be related to a Russian mob boss or whatever.
Which, you know, again, and I brought this up to you a little bit before, you know, it's convenient because the trailer for Nobody 2 has him going on vacation. Apparently his daughter and son get into trouble, get hit or something, in an arcade. He goes off, and it leads to another set of, what are the odds, what is the convenience that you're going to screw somebody over that leads to a bigger plot? I know it's a movie, I know it's plot armor getting to that point, but in real life, that's where it feels like it drops off a little bit for me, because what are the odds that you're going to actually do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I usually look for something to empathize with when I look for emotions, or something like, if it's a horror movie, you know, obviously it'd be like the fear, the trembling, the freaking out at keeping you on edge. But with an action movie, it's literally about like the thrill of the chase and beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah, like we talked about it, people go to an action movie for violence and cool things.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like John Wick did have a little bit more. Because, like I said, his dog literally died.
Yeah, no, that
They
part...
literally killed his dog.
I'll definitely agree. That part is the part that makes even the strongest man cry.
They killed his dog. His wife died from some sort of disease, I think.
Cancer?
Yeah, she died from something. I don't remember. But she died, and so it brings back, like, memories of her and stuff. I feel like he did have a lot of the emotional depth that I feel like some of this was missing.
So what I will say about that, since we're on John Wick a little bit too, is I feel like you're right-ish in some senses, that that's where John Wick does one-up himself. Oh, that's another thing I had to mention too, so thank you for reminding me of that. Before I do, though. So I think his is a lot more internal emotions and dialogue. It's, you understand how John Wick feels and thinks. He doesn't talk much. There is a lot of action and beat up, but you understand the man. Like there's, you don't, like with Hutch, there are some things that you're a little questionable about, like why would he do this, why that. But John Wick, you could literally go inside and be that character, and you would probably feel 100% on par that you're John Wick.
Yeah, like I feel like he's missing some of the heart and soul of it all. Like, I feel like he needs more. Like, I get he has a family, I get he's trying to protect them, but I want to feel that family. I want to feel his dread for losing that family. Like, I want to be in, like, you know, be able to put myself in his shoes, but I can't.
Right.
And I can't empathize with a lot of the emotions that are coming from it, besides, you know, obviously the kicking butt and whatnot.
And I think we talked about it too a little bit, and we can get back into it a little bit here. Like, I think that Hutch is, and you said he's slow, methodical, whatnot.
Yeah, and in a lot of movies, they have at least one scene where you feel like you might cry, or you have that, like, that thing deep inside you that's like, oh damn, I really feel about that. There wasn't really a scene in here.
I will agree with that, and that could have dropped the emotion too for
that
me.
I didn't feel like I connected as much as I could have with it, and that's why I did put it 2 points off.
Right, you took it 2 points. I only took it 1 point, and I think it could have been that exactly what you said about the John Wick, where you feel inside them, or they're missing that emotional catch, like Love Hurts. You know, it was the brothers being split apart, you know, being from different sides. But the woman that will he, won't she. So, yeah, I get that a lot. And so I agree with that. I gave it a 9 out of 10. And one of the reasons why I rated this so high, and I told you I'd talk about it a little bit, was because compared to other action movies, this one does a lot of things that the others don't. And I like a lot of that more than some of these newer action movies or older action movies. But I did feel like something was missing in the emotion department. And now that you bring it up, I wasn't 100% sure why. And I think letting you talk about the reasons why you gave it 2 points off pinpointed my reason. And I do think it's the fact that they're, you know, like in Die Hard. Maybe not Die Hard, but in a movie where a bomb's going to go off and you got 72 hours to stop it. You get to know those characters. So you have that emotional bond, like, will they, won't they die?
Yeah.
But I didn't ever for one moment, other than the father, when Christopher Lloyd's father, you know, again got walked onto, that was the one time where the dread was felt there. But then he turned it around and it never happened again. You never felt like anybody was going to die.
Yeah, no, they all felt safe.
They all had plot armor.
Heart-wrenching moments. I mean, yeah, his son was on the ground or whatever, and attacking that person or whatever, but, like, you could tell that he had a plan. Like,
yeah, like, you knew it was, even though he told him to get off him, you knew at the end that he wasn't going to let his son get killed.
Yeah, it just never felt like they were in any real danger.
I'll agree with that. I think that's where my 1 point came off, is I felt no worry about life. Like, you know, your girlfriend's kidnapped. Oh my God, she's kidnapped. Is the villain going to kill her when he gets there or something? Or is he going to get there and I already killed your wife? But
Right.
there was none of that. Yeah, you're 100% right. I think you're right. That's what it was missing in emotion. It was missing something to catch with.
Yeah, there was no like heart-stopping, heart-wrenching moment to it. Nothing that I could fully empathize or connect with.
Yeah, because John Wick, we'll go into that again for a second. Like in John Wick, you're right. The dog dying, you were on board with John Wick and his revenge. You like, kill those damn mother.
Yeah, you connect with it. You're like, damn, they killed my dog? Like, I'm going to beat the hell out of
like I do that. I try to do that. I fail miserably, but I'm going to try to do what John Wick did to defend my puppy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. I can't really relate to, oh, there's a kitty cat bracelet, I'm going to shoot the whole world down. Like,
no, that part was stupid. I don't care. That for sure definitely if John Wick's feeling the emotional pull was 0.5, the dang bracelet is the other 0.5 off for me. Probably 1 point for you then if you had 2 points off. Because that was the stupidest plot convenient point of why he started. I get that he probably had built up tension. And because he on the bus, he was like, oh God, please get on my bus. Please get on my bus so badly. Like, I get it was built up and whatnot. But I do get it. I do understand. Her bracelet was missing. He loves his kids. Maybe he doesn't know how to deal with it well enough. So he's like, I'm going to go kill them, beat the crap, get the bracelet back.
Right, like, kill him, though. Like,
yeah, kill him as well.
He's just about to, like, go on a whole headhunt for this damn bracelet. And they never even gave a reason why it could possibly be that important.
Yeah, like, did she buy it? Did she make it for him?
Nothing. There was no explanation why this bracelet
the bracelet
mattered.
Just led the whole plot. I'm going to get on a bus. I'm going to beat people up. I'm going to go track down these a-holes. Oh, well, that didn't go nowhere
Right.
because they're kids. I'm going to beat up these people on the bus. Oh, now I got a Russian mob that came to my house. Now I have a reason to fight them, but I only fought them because of a cat bracelet.
Right, exactly. Like, at least give us a reason why we should be attached and connected to this cat bracelet.
No. The cat bracelet was so... I hated it. I hated that was the reason why this movie took place. Why it needed to happen. It could have just been here's a better one for you. Here's how the movie should have went. Guy breaks into the house, or a couple breaks into the house. The son tackles him. Maybe the daughter comes downstairs. She gets hit. That sets him off. He goes after them. He's going to kill him. He hears the baby right before he does it. And then the rest of the movie follows the same plot. Like, at least if it was the daughter, or maybe the son gets put into the hospital, nothing serious. But just something that gave us a reason to connect with why he started it.
Right, like the cat bracelet had like some of somebody's ashes in it or something.
Oh yeah, that would have been more plot too.
Like anything that would have possibly connected to why the hell we should be so mad about a kitty cat bracelet being stolen that wasn't even stolen.
Nope.
Mind you.
And yeah, it led to so much that didn't need to have it. Was.
And he would have killed him if he didn't have. He probably would have killed him if he didn't hear the kid crying. Even like if that kid didn't cry right then and there, he might have killed him.
Oh God, could you imagine if the gun would have went off?
Yeah, he would have killed him over this kitty cat bracelet. Then to find out that they only did it to try to save their baby, bro.
What would he do? What would he have done? Would he have taken the baby like Batman and been like, "You're Robin now when you grow up"? Like, I don't know. The cold cat. I mean. Fine, it gets the story pushed and whatnot, and it's nice to see a father care so much, but you take the cat bracelet out of the equation, there was no reason for any of this movie to happen. I mean, I'm glad it did, good movie, but no reason why it should have happened.
Yeah, because he would have continued on his normal schedule.
Yep.
He probably wouldn't have even been on that bus to even be able to attack all them people. And he probably wouldn't have even had the rage within him anyway.
Yep. So I think they should have injured one of the kids. Not hurt him badly or anything, but they should have at least hurt him and he wanted to kill him. That's a snapping point, but no.
He had no full logical reason
and why didn't
to want to kill these people.
And it gets even worse because I think about it now. Think about it. When he was told about the cat bracelet, did he go looking around the house for it first? No, he grabbed his freaking keys, said he had something to do, and walked the hell out.
I'm gonna go get your kitty cat bracelet.
He didn't even take a minute to look around the house. Oh, or no, it was where was it, darling? Or where was it, honey? And she's like, it was in the bowl. And instead of looking under the table,
he
at
just
least.
looked in the bowl. That was it.
Yeah, he looked in
He
the bowl.
just looked in the bowl and he's like, oh, it's not here. I'm going to go kill somebody.
Look under the table at least. Make it look like you cared about trying to look. It's not in the bowl. Bees are going to die.
And I feel like he just didn't have enough emotion to be able to do what he was doing. Like, I just don't feel like there was enough that should have pushed him to that point.
I don't either, not with the cap bracelet. Like I said, I get, trust me, as a father, I get wanting to protect your daughter, get them whatever they want. You know, that if that cap bracelet did mean so much to her or something like that, I could see going out and doing the revenge. But like you said, they don't really explain the bracelet well enough. If it's just some $5 trinket he bought that his daughter liked, then he could just go and buy again.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt he could have. But like I said, it's just the bracelet. There's no reason. There's no.
Yeah, there's no logical reason. I just can't. Like, I just feel like it just throws the emotion off.
Agreed.
It throws like the whole thing off to me because it's just like
it does, and that's another reason why it could have dropped a point for me. But I do think the John Wick thing too. So I think 0.5 because of the lack of importance of, you know, are they going to live, die, whatnot,
yeah.
And then the bracelet. The bracelet is the worst. Like it should drop it, the whole darn score down to like a 4. If the movie wasn't that darn good, the bracelet would just bother me even more.
See, I dropped it one full point for that because it just messes up the whole story, kind of, where it's just kind of off because it just doesn't give enough reason for what he's doing,
right.
Why he's on this mission.
I mean, unless he just is actually a sociopath.
I guess, but
or is it sociopath? Whichever one where there's still emotions, like you can still care about people.
You just said the same thing. You said sociopath or sociopath.
Oh, I meant sociopath or psychopath.
You're just like
because
sociopath
or
isn't sociopath.
He did kill people. He didn't let them talk. He gave them the chance. He wanted what they wanted.
Except that one dude they let live and had a beautiful life.
Yeah, and that's when he wanted it too. So maybe he really is not a serial killer, a mass murderer again, probably. But maybe he is a psychopath or a sociopath, and that was just where his mind went off to when the bracelet, like, oh, I gotta go back to killing people because my daughter's bracelet is gone. My daughter!
Right, I mean, maybe, but I feel like it's kind of like how we saw, you know, the Terrifier. We saw the first kill and it's like, oh my god! But then as you continue to see it, it's like it's nothing.
Yeah, you get desensitized.
Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of, desensitized. Maybe the first few times he killed somebody, he thought about their life. He thought about, you know, damn, I'm taking this person's life away, whatever. But after killing so many people, he probably doesn't even think twice about it. Because that's just how it is, you know. He's like, okay, this is my job, this is my mission, pop.
Well, not even just that, even when he was murdering people. The 4 down in the basement, even though I only think one of them was alive. The Black Russian. He just sat down calm and collectedly. Who are you? Like nothing. You know, he's sitting there telling them a story.
Yeah.
While they're dying, like their life either doesn't matter or just it doesn't bother him anymore. So I agree, 100%. So maybe that's exactly the point. Maybe that's what we were supposed to feel as an audience. I mean, it did push me off, but maybe he's supposed to be a psychopath who just cares about his family and any little small thing can make him snap. But otherwise, he's a calm, collected guy who can think things through and set up traps. But, you know, sometimes he just completely goes off the deep end. Because it did seem like the wife was worried every time he started trying to go off the deep end.
Yeah.
So maybe he is a psychopath, or probably a psychopath is what I'm thinking of. But, like, maybe that's the whole reason why he went crazy on the bracelet. I don't know. It's just, I just don't know. The bracelet just...
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like it deserved at least 2 points off because there was nothing
I get that
I could really attach myself to, and there wasn't enough emotion or reason for why this all was happening.
Right. Yeah, no, agreed. So that's our reason on the emotion. We got emotional in the emotion. But you know what? I will still say, even though we did give it the complaints that we gave it, you got to remember that at the end of the day, we both really liked this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good movie. I do recommend going out and seeing it. But, like, there is problems, but there's problems with any movie. You look into it, you can nitpick anything or have reasons and still really love a movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But for the most part, it's a good movie. And so when you tally up everything that we got, she gave it as a total, a 87.5, and I got a 90%. So that's really high. Now, I will note, for me, it's because I enjoy emotions, music, and story a lot more than the violence. I'm not a very violent person, even in video games. I like to disarm people or do non-killing blows. So I'm a big fan of the story, music, presentation, emotions, whatnot. And when I compare them to other movies like John Wick, Love Hurts, and the Love Hurts could just be the fact that he has a family. But when I put it to those movies, that's another reason why I think Nobody gets such a high rating, because I'm ranking it higher because I'm thinking about other movies in its genre or its typing, as I like to call the John Wick ripoffs. But still, all in all, it's a good, if you're a guy, it's a good action flick. If you're a parent or a couple, I don't really want to know if I want to say it's a love story, but it's a family movie in the sense of, he has a family and they all love one another. He wants to protect them. His father and his brother really love each other. So, I mean, there's something in there for just about everybody, I personally think.
Yeah, I feel like there is too, yeah. It had a nice vibe to it for sure.
It did. So, that brings us to the end of Nobody. Before we do go, because we didn't have really time to talk about it for Freakier Friday, when we got into Freaky Friday, because we were going to see it right after, and this one's at least a day or two, or I'm still not sure when we're seeing it. But we watched the trailer for Nobody 2. And I watched Nobody. I'll start with I watched the Nobody 2 trailer, and I really was psyched about it already, and I really enjoyed the idea of where they were going with it. But after seeing the Nobody 2 trailer, or watching Nobody and seeing the trailer again, I am really psyched and pumped up for it. So, my question is, first, how did you feel? Because I might have shown you the trailer once before, but even if I didn't, how did you feel about going to see Nobody 2 before seeing Nobody again? Because I know you said you had forgotten most of it. And how do you feel about going to see it now?
I was pretty excited still to go see it, even though I didn't remember most of it. But then once I watched it again, I'm definitely excited about going to see the next one, because I just absolutely love the vibe of the story and his vibe in general and his carefree humor, nature and old-timey behavior. And
we're invested in the characters now. Like I said, they don't have to sit here and build them up. We already know these characters. They might build them up a little bit because it's been 5 years. But we know these characters. We've been in their universe. So it's like going back to visit old friends.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be too much filler going on.
Nope. Or if there is, it's going to probably be the bad guy and the plot around it. But so you're just excited as I am more now. And that's how I felt. I was excited to see this one because I remembered we seen it. But now I'm really excited after getting to rewatch it again.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
All right. So any closing statements before we end out this podcast?
No, I don't got any.
All right. So until next time, keep watching, enjoying what you like in the movies. And if you ever lose something, for the love of God, look around the house for at least 5 minutes, pretend you care, then go on a rampage.